It's the
It made
worst.
me crack. I help too.
Yeah, I did help. Nobody happens to think Tin. It's just Tin goes first. Tin, give us your pinky finger to help unlock this door. Tin do this. Tin hurt. Hold Ertleby.
To be fair, they also asked Tin to be quiet.
Tin got an 11.
Tin tried. It tried. I just imagine her like she was just like really like starting to get like creaky, so she was just like.
She needs a little
And
the
just,
little
like, stop.
the oil dropper that the Tin Man has, or like
WD-40.
Tin needs to be brought into maintenance. It's her time for a annual maintenance check.
Pit stop.
Has Tin gotten her oil changed in the last 3 months?
Woke up in a lucid dream. Now we're hunting for the shards. We might be an oddball team, but at least we've got no bards. World Walkers.
This is Pedro, the GM and creator of World Walkers. In our last episode, the group rescued Tompkins and battled their way out of an inn full of nightmares. Attempting to flee the city, the group instead found themselves behind bars, as is the way of all adventuring groups. However, thanks to some roguish skills and a cat named Purtleby, the group managed to escape capture. We now join the World Walkers as they say goodbye to the grand city of Tremessa. On that note, you dart out of the city, make a hard right out of the gate, and take off running. Tompkins is with you, obviously, and Roborto's cat is following close behind.
Thank God.
Have we left the city?
Yeah, the gate. You were right at the gate, so you just zip, boom. You're outside of the gate immediately.
I yell
Vasa-
back behind us, sorry.
Vasa immediately hushes Roberto, being like, "Shh! What do you think we just spent all this time accomplishing?" And then she looks to She looks to Tompkins and says, "Where now?"
He's running. Just follow me.
Okay,
So once you get about an hour away from the town,
but
what?
right when the city's almost out of sight, if it is, Vasa would pause just maybe 5 seconds and blow a reluctant kiss to the city before turning back and running with her friends.
Aww.
So maybe not exactly an hour, but once you're sufficiently away from the city, Tompkins stops to catch his breath, and he says, "All right, there's a portal for us to get off this world. It's not that far from here. It's about 2 days away. It's a little bit past the city of Bridgeport, which Roborto, you would know. Bridgeport is a beautiful fishing city that sits on a large lake."
Yes.
And he says, I don't think we should stop in the town at all unless you guys think we need to. I think we should just leave, but it's up to you guys.
Question. Does Bridgeport have elephants?
They might. They're kind of a merchant's paradise. It's something of a...
It's not worth it
Vasa
this time.
says,
We'll get it.
Vasa says we
Why do you
should
want
be
an elephant?
careful.
I don't know if an elephant
Well,
would fit
visit.
inside the portal.
Oh.
Oh. You mean if I got an elephant, it couldn't come with us?
I don't know where all we're going, but like, at least off this world, we got to go behind a waterfall and through some caves.
Okay, we don't have to get an elephant.
Are we going to a water temple? If we're going behind a waterfall, I'm pretty confident we're going to a water temple.
I don't know, and he kind of thinks for a second. He goes, "No, it's not a water temple. It's just a series of caves that leads to the next world."
Vasa says, do you think there will be a shard at the end of these caves?
I couldn't tell you. I just know that in order to leave this area, we have to go to that area.
Vasa looks at the group and she says, "Well, I'm fucking tired of this world anyway. What do you say?"
Yeah, I think if we stay here any longer, we're just going to endanger more people. So, let's do it.
But now that Tompkins knows what you guys are going to do, he takes some confident steps forward. And it's at this point that you're kind of starting to, maybe one or all of you can be thinking this, it's up to you. But some of you may start to put together that maybe this is why Tompkins is your guide. He doesn't seem to know where the shards are, but, you know, he knows where to take you next. And you're not sure you have all the pieces of the puzzle yet, but you've been trying to figure out why Tompkins. So yeah, I mean, like when you left the town, you came right into an area where a shard was. And now Tompkins knows exactly where to go to get off this world. And you don't know if he's going the right way, but you're wondering, some of you may be putting it together that maybe this is what Patch meant by Tompkins knowing where to go.
Mm-hmm. Vasa
So-
would have given Tompkins a side eye as Tompkins assumes an air of confidence that is unusual for him.
So you guys travel for a day's worth, and it's getting late, and Tompkins finds a nice place to rest, and then he stops and thinks, and he turns around and he goes, "Wait a second. Are we gonna rest?"
Vasa looks to the group and says, "How are we feeling?"
Crappy.
Um,
Very crappy. It's been like a day, and we didn't sleep very well. We should definitely not all go to sleep again, is my vote.
Yeah, we could set up camp.
Vasa would say, we'll need to rest eventually. This is the goodest place as any, isn't it, Tompkins?
And he says, "Well, I mean, is there any place that's safe?"
Now's not the time to become clever, Tompkins.
No,
But
I'm
then,
saying that if we fall asleep, what if they come out of Ertleby's shadow again? Or any of our shadows?
If they don't have shadows to come out of, can they just not appear? What if we just wait to the middle of the day and lie very, very flat?
Wouldn't we have shadows then? I mean, I don't know if it's shadows they're coming out of. I mean, they're coming out of our dreams, I think, right?
How can we avoid dreaming?
Vasa says, well, we need to rest eventually. Let's just take shifts sleeping.
Okay.
And we'll wake each other immediately if their sleep summons a creature.
All right, so you guys start to set up camp. Who's going to sleep?
Roberto doesn't have to sleep for a while. Or wait, yeah, at all.
Well, to get stuff back, you do.
I don't have. I actually used up 2 hit dice on the last thing, and I've got to full health,
Okay.
and I'm not missing any spells, so I'm pretty
Cool.
good to go, guys. So I can
Yeah.
actually.
The Forge don't need to sleep. They only need to sleep if they want stuff back.
Yeah, so I can take.
Yeah, I'm full health, so.
Ertby will sleep.
So just pointing out that Vasa is technically full health, but she would sleep just to be realistic in the game because they can't just go on.
Yeah.
So she, as soon as Tin and
Yeah,
Roberto,
you would start suffering drawbacks if you tried to stay
Yeah.
awake.
Actually, Vasa would say only 2 of us should sleep for an hour or so to see if anything happens. We can't risk all 4 of us summoning a nightmare. So she would point to Ertleby and Tompkins. Sleep
And-
on command.
Well, I don't know. Ertleby, are you able to go to sleep?
She's gone. She like the second Vasa pointed at her, she's like, she was actually asleep before then. She just fell asleep with that. Like, this is gonna be a problem. Sometimes she likes to take naps.
Cat naps. She lays down to go to sleep and just kind of curls up into a cat. Tompkins, he's laying there, but his eyes are wide open.
Vasa notices this and she walks over and she says, Tompkins, you're wasting sleeping time. Go to sleep.
I don't know if I can sleep. I'm scared.
Tin looks at him and she says, "Well, I may not like you, and I may be scary to you, but I have helped protect you, and I would say that you're pretty safe, and that sleeping is the best way to gain back your strength and sanity. So sleep while you can, because you never know when you're not going to be able to next."
Let's do a charisma check and see if your words soothe him.
12.
He kind of takes a deep breath and says, I'll try. And he kind of turns over onto his side and closes his eyes, and within a few seconds, you just hear the most obnoxious snoring.
God damn it.
It's just this labored breathing, but he does go to sleep.
Vasa shakes her head and sits herself down nearby. She's not sleeping, but she's obviously trying to at least rest physically.
Give me, what is your passive perception checks?
16.
11.
Mm-hmm.
11.
I'm scared.
And then nothing happened. And everything was fine. Tompkins picked a good place with his mind powers.
I'm getting annoyed at Tompkins snoring. So I kind of like shove him with my foot a little bit.
Vasa pushes Roberto off, being like, "Psst, come on, otherwise he'll have to sleep some other time and they'll slow us down."
So you hear something rip into flesh as the nightmare creatures have formed over both Ertleby and Tompkins, and has crit them both. Ertleby, you take 9 damage. If you're unconscious and people attack you, if you're unconscious and they attack you, it's an automatic crit. And Tompkins is also, he just and just kind of convulses and then goes limp. As 2 of these creatures rise up and spread out and get ready to rush the rest of you. First round, Vasa, you're first.
Well, Vasa immediately, sorry, grandmother, she goes for the Tompkins one. She basically, I don't know if it's like, well, first you would attack it. Let's just attack it. Let's just attack that thing. Okay.
What baloney is this? I'm dying.
Well, both of them are dying. If she might try to jostle Tompkins, but Tompkins looks pretty unconscious. So let's see. First roll.
Should you like do a range attack first before, so that it gets used to the range, so we can run in and melee it afterwards?
Vasa looks at Roberto just as she's about to wield her 2 swords, and she goes, "Roberto!" And then she whips out her arrow.
All right.
And now, let's see. That was a 14 plus a 6, so that's a 20.
All right, it's a hit.
Do. Well, that's a 7 plus a 4, which makes 11. And I don't know if she gets sneak attack on this one because there's nobody currently engaging in a melee.
Correct.
Unless
Right,
Tompkins'
it's just regular
speared
damage.
body counts. Okay.
So how much damage was it altogether?
She did 11 damage altogether, and she would then use her other final action to pull Tompkins' body out of harm's way.
Okay. So you launch an arrow, it flies and it strikes true. As soon as the creature reels back, you dart forward and you pick up Tompkins and then disengage out of the way. The creature reels back, and then when it looks back at you, it's already taken a new shape. It looks like you, just like you, except for very old. And you look at it and realize that it is you, and you've done nothing with your life. That you could have done something with your life, but now you're here. And this life is going to be something that you never do anything with. Ertleby, can I get a death save?
Oh.
I got a 13.
A 13. All right, that's 1 success.
Yes.
Roborto.
Just a tough old bird.
Roborto reels back in a panic and yells to Tin, "Cover me!" as I run over to Ertleby's body, or her limp body, and I mutter a few magic arcane words as I kind of go like Avada. Not that. Not Avada.
We all have this like hopeful face, and then it goes to like horror.
I just go like fatality. No, I mutter some arcane words and some.
She always wanted to Ertleby out of the way. He saw his chance.
Let nature take its course.
Some like arcane like magic erupts from around me and kind of I glows as I hold my hands over there and I mutter some words of magicness and I cure wounds. Cast
It's
Cure
actually
Wounds.
nature magic, but go ahead.
Nature magic. I always. Oh, that's the second time I've done that. I cast natural. It's not a word. Magic on. I cast Cure Wounds. Let's just go with that.
A Davica garden.
Alright, so I Cure Wounds. That Cure Wounds is 1d8.
Yep, plus your wisdom modifier.
8! A natural. I don't know. 8 plus 1, so it's 9.
Yep, 9.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it'll be your eyes shoot open.
Yes!
Hooray!
Get back in the fray, Grandma!
It's going to attack you, Roborto. Critical hit.
Wow.
Sorry, wow. No, he rolled so low, I thought that the app had fucked up. Not like I want to kill you. I was just like, that's not even Oh my god. All right, I get it now. I had to redo its math. 4 damage as it critically glances you.
Critically glances.
It's like this is the world's deadliest paper cuts.
You like fall, like
Office
clutching this
Max!
very
But yeah, you take 4 damage as it critically glides past you suggestively. The other one is going to move forward and attack you as well.
Oh, fuck.
This one, it connects with your arm and you just shrug it off.
Nice.
Tin?
Tin is going to get out her glaive and try and strike the one that Vasa attacked with the ranged weapon. 14.
Hit. So you run, leap over the body of Tompkins, land next to it, and then drive your glaive into it for...
One damage.
Just trading paper cuts back and forth. This is all like very intimidation cuts.
Vasa.
Yep, so now that Tompkins' little body is safely out of the sight, she's going to go ahead and attack, pull out her 2 scimitar and her short sword, and go ahead and attack the one that she was facing off against that looks like her very old. And she just says, she points at the creature and she says, yeah, fuck that, and points at the old useless Vasa. And first roll to attack. Okay, so the scimitar lands a 5 plus a 6, which is a 10, and the short sword is a 14 plus a 6, which is a 20.
That's a hit.
So altogether an 8, and then she uses her cunning action to disengage and dash back.
All right, so you you run through her, and then you dash back, and she kind of starts to reshape a little bit, and she reshapes until she looks like you currently, but you realize that the statement's the same.
Vasa makes a rude gesture, like 2 rude gestures at the implication.
Ertleby?
I've had it with these nightmares. Moon prism power. So she's going to use Moonbeam, which a silvery beam of pale light shines down. I'm reading this from my book. In a 5-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder centered on the one that attacked me. And then when a creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it is engulfed in ghostly flames that cause searing pain, and it must make a Constitution saving throw. It takes 2d10 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one, and Shapeshifter makes its saving throw with disadvantage. And if it fails, it also instantly reverts to its original form, and can't assume a different form until it leaves the spell's light. Do these count as shapeshifters?
They do.
Oh, interesting. And then I can move it around. Pretty awesome. Sis. Alright, so
That's awesome.
Alright, so you have to avoid this, right? So I roll.
Well,
it's
its turn. It'll start its turn since you put it right on it, right? So
Yeah.
it'll automatically have to make a check. Roborto?
The power of the moon compels you.
There's 2 of them, right? They're
Mhm.
both attacking me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy. I have to turn to the one that we've already damaged.
Mhm.
I focus my strength, and I just stab as much as I can into what I think is its face with my 2 swords. So main hand, 19. Offhand is 19 as well. And then for damage, I strike a mighty blow to his face with my right hand and a tiny poke with my left hand.
So yeah, you start slashing at the Vasa before you, and you find that already it's kind of like you feel resistance against your attacks.
That's weird.
Maybe it's every time it shapeshifts.
Oh, okay.
Or it'll be shouts.
What do I have to pass? Or it'll be what's my saving throw?
Oh, it's Constitution.
Constitution? Okay, thank you. It fails.
Oh, so then it takes 2d10 radiant damage. So 13.
You summon down this huge beam of moonlight that crashes down on it, and it screams, and it kind of like stretches and pours itself away as it tries to move out of the area, but it can't get out in time, and you see it kind of get ripped up by this moon beam.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, terror. The next one has to make its saving throw.
And it does so at disadvantage.
Oh.
Because it's a shapeshifter.
Oh, okay, that's right, yeah. It fails as well. Go ahead and roll damage.
2d10. 7. 1. 8.
So you watch as it screams in pain, and it kind of loses the face, like the face of Vasa melts away, then the armor and everything else, until it's just a shell of its former form. You can kind of see traces of Vasa in there somewhere, but it's mostly been melted away by this terrible moonbeam that ripped through it.
For love and justice.
It's going to move away, so someone gets an attack opportunity if they're near it.
Okay, she's gonna take out. Vasa takes out her rifle this time.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
you
it
can't make
is
an opportunity attack with a rifle.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's like you getting a real
Then-
quick attack in, so you wouldn't have time to swap weapons, line up a ranged attack, and then take aim and fire. Yeah.
Even if I'm the fastest guns in the West. I'm just kidding. Okay. She got a 18.
18.
Nice.
It's a hit.
Nice. Damn.
Don't let me down, D10. Ah, shit, yeah, 10.
All right, so it
Nice.
pours past the first two, and then you see Tin like spin her glaive and catch it as it tries to get past her, and it keeps running, but it's running through the glaive as it splits in half, liquefies, and shatters.
Nice.
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 The other one, though, it used its full move. It used everything it had to get 60 feet away. Like, it's taking off really far. Tin, it's now your turn.
It's business time.
60 feet is still within a comfortable range for my rifle. I'll take aim.
All right.
Okay, 17.
That's a hit.
11.
All right. So, you line up a shot, crack of thunder. You rip a piece of it off, and it starts to reshape itself. And when it forms up, it looks like the one of the masters. It's your master, but you shot her in the head, and she's stumbling back, about ready to die. To everyone else, it just looks like it's fine. Like it looks like someone you've never seen before, but you don't feel that fear of it dying. Only Tin's wrestling with that. New round, Vasa.
Yeah, so Vasa used her movement to move forward 30, and then she's gonna whip out her bow and arrow, and let's see if it hits.
You should also know that Tompkins looks like he's about to go.
Oh, that's right, Tompkins. Yeah. So now that
I've been
one
rolling
of
death
them-
saves, and he's not looking great this
Oh,
round.
dude,
shut
I wish he would like give gurgles or something, like a little dying gurgle.
This was his gurgle.
Yeah. So that was his gurgle. All right. So Vasa looks like she's unaware of Tin's emotional dilemma, so she thinks that Tin has got it. So she quickly crouches over Tompkins and tries to stabilize him. Whoop, it fell off. Hang on. All right, that's a 14 plus a 2. That's a 16.
All right, he was about to die. I rolled a 1.
Oh.
I rolled it preemptively to see what would happen this round.
Holy
So that was it for him if you hadn't succeeded.
Okay.
Oh my
So
god.
Vasa's extent of knowledge is stop the red flowing thing from happening. So,
you patching him up and obviously because the GM told you, but Vasa hopes this is enough and he's just kind of twitching. Ertleby.
Can move her moonbeam up to 60 feet after I cast this spell.
Holy shit.
Powers of moon for love and justice.
Roborto. So you watch as the moonbeam starts to race along the grass and charge the creature, but it's your turn before the creature. So
I get halfway to the creature and then I draw my longbow. 13.
that's it.
Oh, damn it! I rolled. Okay, I do 5 piercing damage.
All right. So it looks like you got even less of an effect on it than you were hoping, as it kind of resists that arrow.
Damn it. Okay.
But now it has to make a save. Fails. So
Yes.
give me the damage.
2d10 radiant damage. It's 9 and a 7. 16 radiant damage.
All right. So you watch as the moonbeam races over and just pours over it and causes it to just liquefy and shatter in a huge explosion, and there's nothing left of it.
And Vasa would have called over to Tin, being like, Tompkins doesn't look good.
Tin goes over to where Tompkins is.
Yeah. You with your, because you actually are trained in medicine, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you just have a healer's kit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I got one.
All right, so you're like, maybe.
Yeah, I was like, it looks like the blood stopped.
Vasa would have looked at Roberto and says, Roberto, what about your wound healing?
I only have the energy to summon healing power once a day, unfortunately.
Well, so we have an unconscious but potentially stabilized Tompkins. But if Vasa looks around, can she see any immediate village or anything?
Roborto? You're 3rd level, right?
Yes.
You can cast 3 spells a day.
What?
Yeah.
I could cast the same one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant I can cast. I have 3 spells.
No.
and I
It's
can
your
cast
choice.
each of
You
them
can cast.
once.
Yeah.
You just blew my fucking mind. Okay. Well, in that case, I kind of saunter over to Tompkins' body, just brushing over my shoulder a little bit, hey, guys, I got this. And I do a fucking Emperor Palpatine zap at him, but it's positive energy. So this green lightning shoots out of my hands and leaves and effects just surrounding Tompkins. And
So you're just casting a rejuve in your mind?
Yes. Yes. So,
go ahead and roll hit points.
4.
All right. So Tompkins, his eyes shoot open. He goes, "I'm hit!" And then he looks around.
Tompkins, you lovable idiot.
He's back. Kind of clap him over the shoulder, I've seen Vasa do to him many times. He's probably used to it by now.
He picks himself up. Is it time? How long have we been asleep for?
Oh, we're not sleeping again, man. Just saying.
Vasa says, why did you lead us here?
This is the straightest path.
We haven't even reached the portal? How far away are we?
Well, it's been a day and it's 2 days away. That sounded way more rude than I meant. I'm really sorry. Vasa. I was just trying to do the math.
They sorry,
Vasa just
Tompkins.
sighs. And then she looks at Tompkins and she says, Tompkins,
Huh.
you almost died. Every time we sleep, the nightmare creatures come. Do you know of a way to prevent dreaming? Do you know of a way to prevent the nightmare creatures from arising from our dreams?
He nods and he walks over to you and he pinches your arm.
Vasa reaches over and cuffs him on the head.
Ah, what? I'm trying to keep you awake.
Vasa. She's just looking off into the distance, like just willing herself to have patience. This is the wary expression on her face defies description. She is so fucking done. And then she's like, I stabilized this motherfucker.
I think we should get out of here. I think we shouldn't sleep. I think if anyone falls asleep, it should not be Tompkins. Tompkins, you have to stay awake the most.
We should just get out of here as quick as we can.
Yep, keep moving.
Just try to get to where we're going as fast as possible.
I bet if we had an elephant.
Wait! It'll be her eyes widen. Once when I was a little girl, I saw a warhorse. It was very big and strong. Let me just recall what that warhorse was like. This is a very strong horse, and it is probably fast. What if I turn into this horse and everybody rides me? Oh, I guess we have 2 giant robots.
I don't think... Well, the robots don't need sleep, so that's okay. Vasa had said, Grandmother, if you can carry the dwarf and Tompkins, that is enough to help our speed. And Tin and Roberto, you must keep us awake at all costs.
Okay.
And Vasa pulls out a whistle, which she did actually buy from the shops, and she passes it to Tin. And she says, you need to keep us awake.
Got you.
Yeah. And then Vasa looks over at Tompkins, and she adds to Tin, use pain if necessary.
Oh.
And he's like, I wasn't even sleepy until you told me to go to sleep.
Alright.
Nay! That was my B. My B, Tompkins.
Nay!
What'd you say?
Nay!
So Vasa picks up Brimstone and Tompkins and loads them onto what's the name of Erdelmare or
Nay!
Maritalby?
Maritalby. It's Maritalby. Nay! Maritalby recalls. She doesn't recall this. She realizes that she's less sleepy as a horse because horses require approximately 2.5 hours of sleep on average in a 24-hour period.
Is that
fact.
in the stat write-up, or are you remembering that?
Or do you have a YouTube video to prove this?
It does not comment on the sleep needs of the warhorses in the book. However, as a sleep researcher, I am familiar with the sleep needs of animals, and
wow.
I can also send you guys a link. No,
it's okay. As the group, we would be moving out like this. Vasa on foot, Ert'll be carrying the dwarf and the halfling, and the robots also just kind of watching over us.
I'm regretful because I am proficient in an instrument, but I did not think to purchase said instrument, so I'm sad. Because I could have been.
What instrument are you proficient in?
That Roberto would like to keep that a secret for now. Because he will reveal this at the right time. But for now, no.
It's the clarinet.
The pan flute.
He's laughing because we're close. This is good.
He starts to play. Do 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 do.
I can't control it. I have to dance.
No, grandmother, settle down, grandmother. You're a horse. Let's not throw your riders now.
Yeah. His instrument's just a karaoke machine.
Oh my god, yes!
He is the karaoke machine. He just presses a button on his chest.
Oh my god.
What if we all sang A Girl Worth Fighting For from Mulan? We did this once before. It's a good one. For a long time we've been trudging off to battle.
Yay!
Lumbering
In the
herd.
thunder.
Feel
Feel
the
like
like
cattle.
Do 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 do.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Wait, think
What
of
do
it
I
then.
want?
A girl worth fighting for.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Pan flute solo.
But yeah, so
Alright.
universe, we've been traveling like this.
Yes. So I need everyone to make a Constitution check.
I am a horse. This is great.
Even the robots.
No,
Even the
not the
forged?
robots. They don't get tired.
Oh boy, I have a bad feeling
I
about
don't
this.
think so. I'll
I
look
have
it
a
up real
bad
quick.
feeling about this, guys. I feel that natural one in my hand. Well, it's not a natural one. It's a 6 plus a 2, which makes an 8.
Irtleby just got a 2, which makes a 3.
Oh.
Y'all are some sleepy mofos.
We put all our effort into singing.
Guys.
We just
So I kind of
lose
mimic.
health.
I kind of make fun of them, like pretending I'm tired when I'm actually not.
Vasa is cranky. And
Oh no,
she
you
spends
guys
some
do
of her...
have to sleep. It doesn't say
Oh.
anything. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
You don't need to breathe, eat, or drink, but you do need to kind of because you're.
I mean-
yeah.
But physically, you can choose not to sleep. You just like suffer like a shitload of mental and physical
Right,
like,
right.
burdens.
So what did you guys roll?
Let me roll.
I rolled I have a 3 in total.
Okay.
I too have a 3.
I have a 6. I have an 8 in 8.
Okay.
Wow.
I have a 22.
Okay, so Tompkins is staying awake. The rest of you, it's not really feasible at this point for you guys to suddenly fall asleep since you're walking. So instead, you're going to suffer a level of exhaustion.
Ooh, okay.
How does
Yay!
that? What does that do?
At level 1, you have disadvantage on ability checks. So you have gone without sleep for so long now that, yeah, if you try to make any kind of ability check, it's going to be roll twice, take the worst result.
Oh no.
Because you're exhausted. If you continue staying awake, it just gets worse and worse. But now it's the risk is that if you guys have kind of put this together that like if the nightmares come out and attack awake members, all right, you can deal with it. But this time they attack people that were sleeping.
Yeah.
Like when they came out of Irtleby the first time, they attacked
Irtleby
you
was
guys. They
fine.
skipped right over Irtleby, but now they've either learned to attack people who are sleeping, or that was just what they wanted to do for some reason. But you're worried about what they might do next.
So basically, that means if anyone goes to sleep, we kind of have to like penguin huddle around them, so that like
And like just like swords out, just
yeah, exactly. There's like a little pincushion and all like sticking there.
form a little turtle.
Yeah.
Now, Roborto, you would know about this town. As I said before, it's a merchant's kind of hub because it's kind of a resort town, which means that there's a lot of things you could find in this town to purchase. And one of those things, if you are worried about it, would be healing potions. You, on the second day, like I've, especially because you're just constantly walking, you do see the town. It's a beautiful town. It sits right on top of the lake. They've built an infrastructure to keep the city afloat. It kind of bobs in the water peacefully. And there's a bridge that goes across the entire lake. Yeah, so you can see it right now. And there is a lovely kind of a cliff past it. Not a cliff, but like a kind of like a mountain pass. And there's a beautiful waterfall flowing into the lake.
Okay, as a forge, I have no appreciation for such natural beauty. Just kind of ignore it completely.
As a forged ranger who works with nature magic.
Yeah, exactly. With nature magic, I actually have no appreciation for actual nature. So I walk past it as everyone else, I guess, reacts differently.
Yeah.
Wait, are we going into the town?
It's up to you guys. You can go around it, but this might be your last chance. You don't know where you're going next. So if you're going to stock up on anything, it's going to have to be in this town reliably.
Yeah, Vasa says we need to stop here and stock. We will not survive if we keep going.
Tompkins
Vasa-
looks dead tired and he's like, but what if
Vasa takes his ear and twists it hard.
Ah, what if Tremessa's put out one of those things on us?
A what?
What?
Like an alert or like a warning?
And then
what if
Vasa
they
says,
sent mugshots with carrier pigeons or something? I don't know.
Oh, I said if Brammelstone were awake and, doing his thing, we could send in Raven too.
Too Fast, Too Furious, yeah.
Vasa just says we have to risk it. We can't keep going like this. And she would say, let me just go first. You stay on the outskirts of town, and I'll let you know if they try to. If I'm not back in an hour, assume that they've gotten word of us.
Yeah.
Wait, before you go, take this. And Ertleby passes you her long trench coat that from many adventures back she wanted. She thought that some of the villains in the caves were toad people stacked on top of each other, so she made sure she got a long trench coat so she could disguise herself similarly. She's like, well, this is a disguise.
At the same time, I don't think we should split up, though, because, we're all exhausted.
Well, Vasa just wants to check if she can even approach the town without being
we can just kind of pull our
suspicion.
hoods.
And if she can, then she'll come back and get everybody.
Oh.
And if she doesn't,
Okay.
she'll run back and be like, no, abort. Yeah, so Vasa shoulders the trench coat, if nothing, just to cover her battered rogue gear, and she walks towards the entrance of the city.
Mm-hmm. So you're walking the bridge, and there are two pikemen who are guarding the way, and they say, "Halt!"
And Vasa halts.
Name and
And
business.
She says, "My friend." She says, "I'm a mere traveler wishing for rest, for one night's rest in this town." And she holds up her two hands to show that they're empty.
Your name?
Vera.
All right, give me a deception check.
All right, so I roll it with disadvantage. An 18.
Nice.
Yep, they
Woo!
pick up their pikes and move out of the way.
But then all of us have to do that exact same check.
Not if we all stack ourselves under the trench coat. She's like, it's me again, it's Vera. I've just gotten a little taller.
Vasa looks at one of the pikemen and she says, I have a few friends who hid themselves for fear of whether this town was unfriendly or not. Can they come with me? We are all tired.
Where are they from that they would fear Bridgeport?
And she says, we're merely travelers. We don't know the reputations of the city, but we have been attacked by some wild animals, and we do not know whether you're friendly or not. However,
How far
I see
do
you
come
now.
From?
About 4 days' travels.
Really? So you're from Hogarth?
I don't know. We're just traveling circus. We just travel from town to town to ply our trades, but we got lost and we're very tired and exhausted.
Deception check.
Yeah. See, this is where Vasa's like scrambled minds. She's not lying to her full potential at this point. She's just like, yeah, we're traveling performance artists. Oh boy, this isn't gonna go well.
We don't know these lands. Where are you from? I'm about 4 days away.
Alright, so I'm just gonna stop here and say that she rolled a 3. So with charisma, that's a +4. So that she basically rolled a 7 as her lowest, which I'm just gonna roll again just to see in case she gets a lower one. She does! She gets a fucking 2! So that's a 6 now.
He says, you look pretty weathered. You can come in, but we're not letting your friends in. Something doesn't feel right about this.
And Vasa, she just she checks herself and she just assumes the whole tired word travel. She nods feebly and she says, I understand. And then when she enters the city, as soon as she's out of the guard's sight, she makes a quick stepped pace towards what looks like the market center or something. And if she has to, she'll ask any locals, be like, where's the apothecary? Where's the alchemist?
Yep. No need for that. The marketplace is pretty visible. It's in the town square. And there are shops that circle the town square. And then there are also all kinds of booths and bazaars and stuff like that. So you're able to find yourself a nice little potions booth pretty easily.
Well, she would want to talk to the apothecary, and her first question would be, do you have anything that can stop me from dreaming?
He kind of looks at you and he goes, most people want a concoction for their itching. Huh.
Dream.
Vasa would be like, I need something to ensure that I sleep without dreams. And that could be a sleeping potion, that could be herbs, anything. And she's looking a little red-eyed right now, so the shopkeeper understands the urgency of her demand.
What are we doing outside the city, guys?
Playing I Spy.
Yeah.
He says, I think
Thinking.
not sleeping is the last thing you need. I don't have anything for that. Why do you think you shouldn't sleep? Dear, you look tired.
And Vasa just says something like, I've just had nightmares. I lost my family in a fire, and every time I close my eyes, I just dream of them dying over and over again.
Hold on, I've got something for that. And he pulls up a potion and slips it your way. He says, this will help you.
And Vasa looks at it and says, what is it?
It's a potion of sleep.
And Vasa says, will I dream in the sleep?
It'll give you a good night's rest. I mean, if you dream, you won't remember it.
And Vasa, well, then she pauses. She says, do you have anything that will compensate for a lack of sleep?
He looks and he says, I have one such potion. Potion of vitality.
And Vasa, she's sort of holding the sleep potion in one, and she's looking at the vitality, and she says, how much for each?
For the potion of vitality? He kind of looks around and he's like, 500 gold.
Oh!
And then Vasa looks at him frankly, and she says, if you charge such horrible prices, your shop would not even be in business. I may be sleep deprived, but I'm no fool.
He looks like honestly perplexed, and he's like, "This, what you're asking for is actual magical potions, like not the usual concoctions people ask for. This is a very rare potion." He looks pretty sincere. He's like, "I'm not. What do you think's a fair price? I mean, I'll work with you to a degree."
1 copper piece.
And Vasa just kind of like, she looks way too wary to debate with him, and possibly too tired to gut him in the stomach. And then she says, how much for the sleeping potion?
He says, for something like this, 100 gold.
Vasa draws in a slow, deep breath. And then she says, and if you were to have health potions, how much would those be?
Oh, those are 50 gold apiece. I mean, I've got a pretty powerful one down here, but I mean, you don't seem like you really want to hear those kinds of prices.
What does this shopkeeper look like?
He's about 45 years old. He looks like, he's got, I don't know, short blonde hair. He's got a bit of a goatee that he thinks makes him look younger. He's got, traveler's robes.
What time of the day is it?
At this point, you're probably there pretty early. I would say about 10:30 in the morning.
Vasa makes one last attempt. She says, do you have anything under 20 gold that just restores energy? Anything?
And he looks and he pulls out a small vial and he says, this is good for staying focused.
What is it? Just a focus potion?
It's just got a couple herbs and...
How much for it?
I'd sell it for 10 gold.
Vasa reluctantly passes across 10 gold, and she accepts the potion.
There you go. Thank you.
All right. And she makes a rude gesture on her way out. Then she, basically after this, she moves to exit.
Yep. And you also know that you can take a sip of it to find out what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She'll take the smallest sip as she's leaving the town.
You get the briefest moment of focus, and so what it does is if you drink it, you will gain advantage on your next skill check. For you, that means that if you drink it, you would lose disadvantage on your next skill check.
So she leaves the city, the town, and finds
the pikemen are kind of confused. Like, done already?
And she shakes her head and she says, no, I just need to tell my friends that I'm all right.
And they look kind of weirded out. Suspicious. But yeah, so you head out of sight.
Yeah, and Vasa, when she returns, she would just say that there is an alchemist there that's selling health, sleep, and vitality potions, but the prices are far beyond anything we can afford. The city guard let me in. The town guard let me in once. They may do it again, but they will not let us all pass through.
I have an idea, which is, what if I change into some kind of animal and do tricks on the corner and we get some gold that way? It's the morning, people are on their way to the market. We can undo this for just a few hours and we can see if we can get enough gold to buy another potion. Plus I can sneak in because I'll be an animal. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
And Tompkins is rubbing his eyes. He's like, why don't we just leave?
Roborto is inclined to agree, although that would be really funny to see.
Yeah. Vasa admits, like, I would have attempted to steal the potions, but it is the bright of morning, and in my current state, I couldn't steal the hair off a cow.
Fine, but next time we're going to do something cool.
But they've traveled 2 days, right? So shouldn't they be like very close to the portal?
Yeah, it's right behind that waterfall.
Oh,
That's what Tompkins is saying. He's like, yeah, it's right there.
Yeah. So, and then Vasa would share. She would show the focus potion. She says, "All I could afford was this. It causes perhaps the briefest moment of focus in case we need it, but otherwise, I was not able to find help for us."
yeah.
Because we're poor. Next place we get, I'm going out in the corner and doing tricks.
And she looks at Tin and she says, "Any thoughts?"
It took the nightmares quite a long time to find us when we had gone to this new world. Perhaps if we push forward and attempt to go to another new world, we can throw them off of us long enough to regain our sanity.
Vasa looks at Tin and she nods and she says, "That may be our only hope." And then she looks at Tompkins and she says, Can you lead the way to the portal?" And then she slaps Tompkins on the cheek and says, "Tompkins!
What? No, that's why I wanted to do that. What?
Tompkins, lead us to the portal."
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. And he kind of pulls himself up and starts walking forward, taking the long way around the lake.
What's the short way?
As Tompkins begins... Oh, yeah. Okay.
Would it be shorter if we swam? Or no, that's too much.
You have to make a skill check.
They would drown. They could drown in a puddle at this point. Like, they just need to keep going.
I could just walk across the bottom of the lake since I'm a robot.
Yep, you don't need to breathe.
You're already so rusty. You want to rest some more?
I'm not rusty, I'm shiny.
Yeah, you take the long way around the lake, but eventually you do come up to the waterfall, and Tompkins stops and stands for a second, and he kind of looks down, and he says, "I just remembered how we used to have so much fun running through this thing when we'd get here." And
Vasa would clap him sharply on the back and says, "Well, pretend it's just like that," and then sort of usher him forward.
Yeah. And so he rushes forward as best he can as his exhausted state and gets through the waterfall. And when he turns around to wait for you guys, you can see like the slightest hint of a smile as he's kind of remembering.
Vasa just follows after without any
give a shit.
Yeah, she's just exhausted. She's bone tired. She just walks through. She's like, if there's death on the other side, at least I can sleep.
We ain't got time for your sentimental shit, Tompkins.
So you guys journey another half hour through the waterfall into another cave system, and you're taking turns left and right. Like, this is a far more complex cave system than you were expecting, but Tompkins knows exactly which way he wants to go, it looks like. And then finally he stops in the middle of a tunnel and he says, "All right, here it is." And there's nothing in front of him. And he turns around and he's like, "You guys ready?"
And Vasa only says, "You first."
And he nods and he walks forward.
Does he hit the wall?
Hmm?
Does he hit the wall? Does he disappear? What does he do?
He just keeps walking down the tunnel.
Vasa follows after.
So you walk through, and there is a point where you're walking through the tunnel, and it doesn't seem like anything's really changing. You're not sure what he was talking about. As you walk further into the tunnel, a sharp ringing noise screeches through the halls. It is unrelenting, and it's at that moment that Ertleby hears this noise that she knows exactly what it is.
I'm home.
I mean, Vasa would have half drawn her weapon and says, What is that infernal noise?
Oh, nobody knows.
Well,
Come on,
somebody.
move, people, move.
We need to find out what it is so we can kill it.
No, we need to get home and visit my family.
Oh, God.
Thanks for listening to World Walkers. This episode wraps up our first chapter as the group leaves Obrimos, the world of shattered timelines. Our next chapter takes place on the steampunk world of Cog, home to Ertleby, Withers, and Tin. If you want to support the podcast, there's a few ways you can help us out. You can check us out over at facebook.com/worldwalkerspod, or you can find us on Twitter at worldwalkerspod. You can also visit our Patreon at patreon.com/worldwalkers. By becoming a patron, you'll gain access to artwork, early episodes, bonus episodes, and even a monthly live draw Q&A meetup where we sketch and answer questions. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod over at incompetech.com for the music you heard in today's episode. And I also want to thank Syrinscape, who provided the sound effects you heard today. Visit them at syrinscape.com.
You can make a pizza out of anything.
I'd like an enjoyable pizza.
You don't like my tortilla salsa
We call that a
cheese
taco.
pizza? This is just a taco.
I totally
Keep
imagined,
getting-
like, when Purtleby was touching the guard's hand, like the moment in E.T., when the E.T. goes, like, be good. And then they just, like, leave. Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Did you ever see like the re-edited version where they took out all the guns and put in walkie-talkies?
Yes, I saw that.
Of E.T.?
Yeah. Spielberg felt bad for a brief moment and thought it was weird that these FBI agents pulled guns on kids because Steven Spielberg doesn't live in the real world, I guess, and thinks that would be unrealistic. And so there's one version of the movie where like they swarm where they think Elliot is, and they whip out walkie-talkies and point them at Elliot's area viciously, not knowing that he's gone.
Oh my god. Ridiculous.
If you say anything, we're gonna record it.
Yeah.
You better not.
You want to
fart.
get two-way, bitch? So, anyway, so...